Took a screenshot. Alright, this is going to be the first video that is going to kind of set us up for working with weapons. So we're going to start by making our weapon-based class, and just for the sake of the video, we're going to simply attach it to our hand socket of our current character and spawn it into the world. So that way we can see it, and then we're not going to set up how it actually fires, but we're going to make a fire animation. Well, we already have the animation, but we're going to make it play the animation for the client that is actually shooting. So just, you can see the bolt carrier group just kind of slide back and forth. So this is going to be quite simple. Hopefully it'll go by pretty quick. So the first thing you need to do is the actual weapons. So if you come over here to the Epic Games store, go to Marketplace, type in FPS weapons. You'll see, go to price low to high. You will see the FPS weapon bundle. Just simply go ahead and add that to your cart, or go ahead and purchase it for free. Then click add to project, click the project, add to project. And if you are on a different version that this pack does not support, you can click show all projects and it'll show projects on different versions. So once that is done, you have this folder here. So you click on the folder, go to weapons, meshes. Currently I've only made a couple animations for the AR4, so we're going to use that. So open AR4, right click, new folder, call it animations. And then you will right click in the empty space, import, and select sk_AR4_anims. This will be linked in the description. So open that up, uncheck import mesh, and as for skeleton, select sk_AR4_skeleton. Don't need to tinker with anything else, everything else should be default, and click import. Once that is done, you will have these 4 animations here. Now this one is for the bolt cycling. As you can kind of see, for the fire animation, we have one for being locked to the rear, which it's constantly looping, so you're not going to see it, but it simply locks the bolt carrier to the rear, going from semi to full and full to semi. And I got those reversed, but it doesn't matter. So these will be kind of expanded on later on when we actually get on to working specifically with the animations. Right now we're only going to just be working with the fire animation, or the bolt carrier group cycling. Yeah, we should better go ahead and build the class. This is also going to be the start where we actually start organizing our classes. So we're going to do that now. So if we right click, use C++ class, we're going to make this in an actor. So click next. Then we're going to call this weapon base. So we're probably going to make a couple different, maybe 2 or more. I don't know if we're going to go over 2, because I do want to have 2 different weapon classes made, derived off of this. So this is going to hold everything we need, for the most part. So we have our weapon base. Now click public, and you will see how this organizes it out. So we want the header files to be public, and then we want the CPP files to be private, which it already sets up for us. And we can go about this farther and actually organize it. So since we're going to have multiple, I'm going to simply type weapons, and the path is going to be from our project, public, weapons, and then our header. And same thing for our CPP, but under private. So then we can go ahead and create the class. Now you're going to have to, when you do this, you're going to have to slightly change the include in the .cpp, but I'll show you, it's effortless. You literally just redirect it to public, weapons, and then the .h. So like you can see here, right now it doesn't know what weapon.base or weapon base is, so we simply go public /weapons weapon base. Then once IntelliSense goes, there we go, everything fixes itself. So we do not want this to have anything running on tick. There's no point. Let's remove this, and we are set up. Just to double check, go ahead and build, make sure you did everything right. You'll see on the right side here, we have it nice and organized. Now, eventually we will go through and do the rest of these that we've made, but for now we're just going to be focusing strictly on the weapons, which is why since we're going to have a couple classes, I want to have these separate and nice and neat so we can actually just make it easier to visualize. So, first thing we do need a skeletal mesh so we can actually see the weapon. So, this is called use property. We're going to set it to edit anywhere. It's going to be class use skeletal mesh component. Hopefully that's spelled right. And I just always call my meshes mesh comp, just out of habit. So back in the CPP, we need to include the skeletal mesh component. So it's include components, skeletal mesh component. Now we do the normal create default subobject. So create default subobject. The type is skeletal mesh component. Use skeletal mesh component. Then just skeletal mesh component. And I forgot to add the U over here, didn't I? Nope, I did. Alright, so that's set up. Now just do root component equals mesh comp. That's just what I normally do. And then only other thing, actually we want two things. So let's make a public function. So public void fire. Void a weapon base fire. And this is where we're going to, just for now, we're going to have it player animation. So we need to set that up. So we're going to set it up so we have a fire animation. So make it a U property again. And it's like enum instance. I don't know. We did it in our storage container. No, U animation asset. That's what it is. So call this fire animation. And under fire, we're simply going to do mesh comp play animation. And the animation we're going to play is the fire animation. And we don't want it to loop, so we're going to do false. Now we can build it and begin to set this up in our character. So for testing, as well as I want to have the players spawn initially with the weapon anyways, we're going to set this up so we have a weapon class here. And it's not going to be an actual object reference, it's going to be the T subclass of, and that's going to be of our weapon base. Now I'm going to create a blueprint off of this here in a second. Actually, no, we're done that, so we can do that now. So on the weapon base, right click, create a blueprint, call this one BP underscore weapon base, and move it into blueprint classes. Create a new folder? Nope. Alright, just gonna move it into there. And here we have our weapon base. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new folder. Call this one weapons, and move it in there. So let's see, search for mesh. That's easier here. Click mesh comp. Just called mesh. There it is. So the mesh is going to be our SKAR4, as we can see in the viewport. Whoops, too far. And then the fire animation. So fire, I clicked the wrong spot. Animation to play. Call this one, so we want this one to be our bolt carrier group cycling. So for the name, just type in BCG, and you'll see bolt hold open, which I actually need to rename that, and bolt cycle. So go ahead and save that. And yep, now we can begin for our character. So in our .h, I'm going to create a new variable. I don't know if I should do a new we'll just leave it here. So under our rest of our components and stuff, we're going to do a use property, edit anywhere. This one's going to be a T subclass of, and the type is going to be a weapon base. Then the name. So call this weapon class. So since we're going to be deriving off our weapon base, let's say we derive the AR4 class, we're going to have one specific to that, and then one for what other weapons are included rifle-wise. We'll do the Val. So we could have one for this, and since they take different calibers and different magazines, that's because this is a T subclass off of weapon base, it should show our derived AR4 class as well as our the Val class. What we're going to be spawning, use spawn actor, is simply weapon class. Now I want a variable to pretty much store the spawn weapon in so we can manipulate it, call fire function for example. So class a weapon base. Just going to call this weapon. So now our CPP, go to the top and include a weapon base. So remember, if it's alpha public, weapons, weapon base.h. Now in our begin play here, what we can do is we can spawn the actor. So we're going to do weapon equals get world on spawn actor. Alright, I guess just IntelliSense wasn't showing it. So the type is going to be a weapon base. The U class is going to be our weapon class. Remember, this is going to kind of dictate what our starting weapon is going to be. Then we need spawn parameters. So, well, we don't need them, but it's nice. So f actor spawn parameters. Spawn params. We're going to give it a few things. So spawn params dot be no fail. We're going to set that to true. And we're going to set spawn collision handling override. So you can see the type is e spawn actor collision handling method. So e spawn actor collision handling method. And it's an enum, so we just do the colon. We're going to set it, set it to always spawn. So then in our spawn actor, the second parameter is going to be our spawn params. So spawn params, that's actually going to be our third, because I want to choose where to spawn it. Even though it should be okay like this, I'm not entirely sure. But I want to have this spawn at the bare center of the world. So we're going to create an F transform. So F transform. Call this weapon transform. Weapon transform dot set location. And it's going to be a 0 vector. So F vector 0 vector. And same thing for rotation. So F rotator 0 rotator. Okay, this takes in a quadratic. So we're going to do F quad and pass in our zeroed out rotator into the constructor. So now we're going to simply we can't put the transform after the spawn params just because of how they have their parameters ordered. It's going to be after our class, so weapon transform, just like that. We need to do a quick check first. So if weapon class, meaning we have it set just for safety, we're going to set weapon to be equal to the spawned actor. And if weapon, we are going to attach it to our player's hand socket, which we have not set up yet. So I'm going to go ahead and build this real quick. Go to our mannequin, character, mesh, and open up the skeleton. Now in the skeleton tree, we can just click on his hand and _R, right click, add socket, so I can rename it up there. Oh, click skeleton. There it is. So under the skeleton tab, not mesh. I opened up the mesh. Alright, so under the socket name, we can do hand _R underscore. We're gonna do S _ hand _R for socket and right. Now we need to move that is sensitive and nice view of the crotch. Lower camera speed a bit. There we go. So we're gonna add an attachment, well, preview, so we can see it. So right click, go to add preview asset. Here's the AR4. You can see the rotation and the location is way off. So I'm just gonna nudge it down, get it roughly just where it's decent. So I want the top of the grip, well, rear end of the lower to be at the top of the webbing of the hand. I don't care too much that it's partially in the hand. And rotate the angle just a smidge that way. That'll be close enough for now. So we have our socket, and it's key to remember the name. So let's go ahead and save it. And because I just know Unreal Engine's going to crash, I'm going to save everything. Okay. So S _ hand _R. So if the weapon that we spawn is valid, we're going to attach it to our character. So once you do weapon attached to, I struggle with attached to actor. I can't seem to get it to attach to a socket for some reason. So I want to do attached to component. As you can see, it takes in a scene component, but we can simply do get mesh and we're fine. Now you have the F attachment transform roles. So it's an enum, so F attachment transform roles. Well, not necessarily an enum, sorry. But we're going to do snap to target, not including scale. And then the socket name we want to attach it to. So it's an F name, so F name. And we call it S _ hand _R. I'm pretty sure. So we are going to go ahead and build. Hopefully that attaches it. And we're going to use weapon as a way to kind of, in the future, dictate what animations we want to use. So if we don't have a weapon, oh, please don't crash. It crashed. This happens just way too often. I don't know what causes it, but after it's back up, it'll be fine. I don't even know if we set the weapon class on our character. Third person CPP, blueprint, open up the blueprint. It'll just be there. So type in weapon. We didn't. So weapon class. We're going to set that to BP weapon base. And save it. Now we can close our skeleton out. Now in our blueprint weapon, I don't remember if we set the... Okay, yeah, we did set the animation for fire. But now it should work just fine. Yep. So as you can see, here's our weapon. It's attached exactly where we put it in our hand socket, as you can see. And as we run around, just nothing special, it's just going to be attached to the hand. So what we plan on doing in the future is, if we have a weapon socket, we're going to switch to a different, I don't know if we necessarily a different animation blueprint, but like a different, we're going to change what animations we're doing. So no weapon, we want to run around normal, just like so. If we have a weapon, we're going to have it where it's at the low ready, to we obviously aim. So now we can set up for now just our fire animation and call it a day on this video. I'm going to actually change this up. I'm going to create a function to create and attach our weapon. Nah. But I am going to change it so we call our fire when we attack. That we can at least see the animation playing. And remember, we're performing this only on the client. And how far down is the attack function? Oh, here they are. Alright, so here's our client version of the attack. So if we have a weapon, so if weapon, we simply call our fire function. Let's say fire animation. Why do we have access to that? Oh, I put these under public, sorry. In our weapon header, let's make a new protected section. And just put mesh component and fire animation in there. We don't need those exposed to anything. And we simply call the fire function from the client attack function. And this will allow us to see the bolt carrier group cycling each time we left click or attack. Oops. So we can actually put the rest of this in here, so we only attack if we have a weapon. But yeah, this is just a short little video. Although it's probably not very short. So, play it. Let's get into the sun and left click. I don't know how well you can see it on the video. Try to get a different angle. You can see the bolt carrier group cycling back and forth as I pull the trigger. So that's how we want it to be. And I don't know if I'm going to end up setting it up so all clients see the fire animation occur. I don't think I want to do that. That's just kind of unnecessary, as it's something you're not really going to probably pay attention to. But they are going to hear the sound and all that kind of stuff, and whenever we get into doing recoil. So let's do a quick reiteration of what we've done. We created our weapon base class. Right now, all it does is holds the skeletal mesh and the animation of fire. Now when we attack on our, when we spawn our character, we're going to simply create the weapon off of the T subclass of the A weapon base class, which will allow us to choose what weapon we want to spawn. We simply assign our weapon variable to the weapon that we spawn, in our case the AR4, and attach it to our hand. Then when we attack, we check if we do have a valid weapon. We simply call the fire animation, which as of right now it just literally plays the animation what we have set for a weapon base. Nothing special, but we're going to expand on this. So I will see you in the next one.